Morning, it's Saturday the 13th of January and I'm in the greenhouse today, and what I want to do is I've got one of the small blow-away greenhouses, as they call them. I've got the staging and the cover for it, so I want to erect it inside the greenhouse so I can bring down my onion seedlings and just get them in the greenhouse to grow on, because that way I don't need to put them under the grow lights, and it'll give them a little bit more protection against the elements, because we are expecting some cold nights coming up. So we're going to be down to -2, -3 and a high of maybe 1 or 2 during the day, so that little bit extra protection should help. So I'm going to find all the bits now and see if I can get it put together. So I had this small blow-away greenhouse for a couple of years now. I used to use it at home before I had the allotment to put tomatoes and chilies in. That's probably what got me started off on my allotment growing journey. And the shelves that go inside it are these here, so I should have enough height to fit it inside there, and I'm just going to sit it on top of the bed. And I don't know if you can see there, that's where the sun comes up in that corner, and it just works its way along this greenhouse. So if I put it in that corner there, it should get the first early morning sun and the last sun of the evening. So I'm just going to have a bit of a measure, clean this racking out. I'm going to assemble it outside where there's a little bit more room, and then I'm just going to lift it in. And then later on today I shall bring the seedlings down and just pop them in. Well, that almost worked. I've just realised when I put the cover on, I've used the wrong size shelves, so I'm going to take the cover back off and put the correct shelves on, and then we'll try again. So I've managed to get the greenhouse in. I've just pushed it to this side because I've found a piece of perspex, and I've put that as a base to give it a little bit more insulation. And I've managed to tuck the corners of the cover, which were a little bit too long, underneath, so that should keep any drafts out and improve the insulation. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to split this racking down into 2 individual sections and put it back on this side of the greenhouse, because the seed trays that I've got are just a little bit too long to fit inside the shelves. So by splitting it down, I can get 2 spread out over it, and then that gives me a good space here just to move around inside the greenhouse. I can bring a little workbench in there, I could do all my potting on and everything in here, because it is a little bit warmer in here than it is in the polytunnel. So I'm just going to get that done now, and then we'll have a look at the finished result. And there we have everything in place. Got 2 rows of racking along there, just need to level it up, but that's not important at the moment. Managed to get my little potting up station in there, and the 3 trays there, and there's plenty of room inside to move around. So I think I made the best that I could with the space available. And now what I want to do is sort this enviromesh on these planters. Just want to make a small frame that I can hook over the top and staple the mesh to it, because as you can see there's holes in it. So just want to tidy that up. If possible, I want to push the two together, because this in the centre here, that's they're tomato halos. They arrived last year, but they arrived too late for me to use them. So I'll just put them there temporarily. But now I've filled the tubs up with soil, I think I'm going to struggle to get them together. But I'll give it a go. So I'm going to take the tomato halos out, put those in the pong tunnel. I might use those actually to grow my melons next year, because the bottom of the melons all rotted off last year. And so I think if I put them in the halos and water into the halo, it should keep the base, the neck of the plant dry and prevent them rotting off, hopefully. So that's going to be the next little bit of a job. See if I can get those two pushed together. And if in that case the mesh is long enough to just hook over as it is, then I won't bother making a frame. But if I can't get it moved, I think I might have to. So that's the onions netted in. What I've done is, I don't know if you can see it there, just I've ran a piece of string all the way around the outside to try and pull the netting a little bit tighter into the side of the body. I may well screw a wooden batten across the front just to stop it lifting up in the wind. I don't think the carrot root fly or the allium leaf miner are clever enough to be able to burrow under that, but I don't want to take any chances. Just been talking to a fellow plot holder, and he got a another blowaway tunnel. He came over to see what I was up to, and he said he got one he didn't want. It was a bit tatty, but it's got all the pieces and it's got the cover. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build it up. I'm going to put it in the centre there, and then I'm going to move the water barrel over into the corner, because the width of it wouldn't allow me access to the front cover. So if I move that over, I can put it in the centre by the window, and then that'll give me a little bit of additional growing space, which is always helpful. So the water barrel's virtually empty. I'm just going to move that over into the corner, get this built up and get the cover on. Hopefully there's no rips in it. I've already built it once, and then I discovered that there's two different sizes of tube, which would have helped. It's only a very small difference, maybe half an inch, centimetre, but it means you can't get the cover on. So in trying to force the cover on, I've put a tiny rip in the one corner. I've also figured out that there's 2 tenths worth of poles in here, not one, because there's far too many connectors and poles. So I'm going to try again, and this time I'm going to put the narrower poles across the width, because that's where I ripped it. So I'll start again. Honestly, this thing is more trouble than it's worth. I've got the depth correct now, but the width's out, but I've got no more shorter poles. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have to cut half an inch off 4 of the spare poles that I've got and swap those out for the ones on this left hand side here, just to reduce the width of it, because I can't shut the door, and there's no point having it if I can't shut the door. So just going to get the hacksaw out, and you can see there how far it's out, and that's the rip that I've put in. So if I cut it down by whatever that is, we should be good to go. I don't mind if it's a bit of a loose fit, but I certainly don't want it like this. It's just going to end up ripping. So I'll chop them down now, and we'll have a go at attempt number 3. So it's been a busy day for me today. I've took my son to play rugby at Wolverhampton. It's a bit of a journey there and back, and I've only just got in, and it's starting to rain and it's starting to go dark. So we're just going to have a quick look at the seedlings and see how they're getting on, and then we're going to end the video. So a little grow tent is pretty packed already, which is one of the reasons that I've not started my chimneys off yet, because I just have nowhere to put them. So once all of these onions, leeks, cauliflower and cabbage are a little bit healthier and further along, we're going to take them down to the greenhouse, and then that will give us room for the chilies. All that's left for me to do is to say thank you very much for everyone that's watched, and I shall hope to see you again next time. Thank you very much, and goodbye.